Hello, my soul family. Welcome to the Spiritual Guidance Series for this beautiful week ahead of us of February 26th through March 3rd, 2024. My name is Christy Ramirez. I'm your soul coach, spiritual influencer, and motivational speaker. And I just can't believe how far into this new year we are at. And the fact that we're starting March this weekend is just amazing, but it's also proof of how time flies. So I want to sit with all of you today and have our little weekly coffee talk to start the week, get cozy, and which is really the vibe that I'm feeling for this week, and start preparing for this new month, because like I like to say, March is the month of manifestation, when things start to really change in your reality. We've been doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of hibernating, a lot of planning the first 2 months of this year. And this last week of February is key for you to set forth these intentions into something real. So I think that it's going to be a very exciting week. It might feel a little scary for some people to step outside your comfort zone or even try new things, because I do feel like we're still being guided to experiment with pathways, with our structure, our daily routine, the way that we do things, the way that we are going to take action towards these resolutions of this new year. Because these dreams of ours, these goals that are deep in our heart, are not just going to manifest themselves. We need to put in our part, we need to take that action, but we also need to strategize wisely. We need to be smart in our approach, and we need to make sure that we know what we're doing and not just doing to do, right? It's not enough to do something versus doing it the right way, right? You can't just do something just to do it. You can't just say that you are doing your job if you have a 9-to-5 job, but maybe not performing your optimal. It's about going that extra mile to showcase your best self and present that to the world. And so this is a very perfectionist week, where we are still perfecting ourselves and mastering our craft, which is okay. And take it easy, take it very slow, because I feel that, life is working for us. Don't ever feel that when life gets difficult or things don't go necessarily your way, that it's because the universe is working against you. In fact, it's working for you. And a lot of the times when you hit a roadblock, it's probably because you need to tweak something. You need to see from a different perspective, widen your lens, and see what's wrong. And when you figure that detail out, you're going to see that the universe was guiding you, right? And that's what I feel like this week is. It's about the details to the big dream, the mission work, what you do for your passions, and fine-tuning those details. And then once you do, you can move on to something bigger and greater, right? It's all about mastering the small box first before you can get out into the larger box, right? Hypothetically and metaphorically. So that's very interesting, because I do feel that also, as much as we're still perfecting ourselves, we're also being given more to do. So it's almost like can feel a little overwhelming. Don't get anxious with these changes. Just, again, go with your flow, take it easy, but still try to get as much done. For me, that's been one of my challenges this past weekend. I always like to sit in silence sometime during the weekend before coming out for this series, and asking Spirit to guide me, give me messages about what is going to be the changes for the next week. And I was just feeling overwhelmed just by the guidance that I received, and I was a little fearful that I can't get it all done. And that's what creates anxiety in me, right? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And it's almost like it can seem that you don't believe in yourself, but when you talk to yourself, it has nothing to do with that, with your confidence, but it's like seeing things from a normal point of view versus trying to see things from a heavenly point of view. And when you choose to see things from a heavenly point of view, you know that achieving impossible things is very possible, right? That's what Jesus came here to teach us about miracles, about having faith in the unknown, in what hasn't been achieved, and realizing that into something real and making it happen. And so when we start to function from a heavenly point of view, an angelic point of view, then we can get more things done than we thought. And we can do it still in love, in grace, in patience, in beauty, because it's those things that we do with intention that come out the best, right? It's not about rushing the process. It's about still living in the moment, being in that present experience and enjoying it, because that is a part of the journey. It's not just about reaching that destination, which is sometimes shorter than the journey, right? And sometimes the journey is not all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of us know that. And it can be frustrating within the journey, like amidst the journey. When you're in the journey, you don't even want to think about this, what I'm saying right now, right? Because this is almost like a post-reflection talk, and it's a very positive talk that we can give ourselves and then tell ourselves after the fact that maybe, you know, you experience some suffering during the journey, but then you realize that it was all worth it, right? And so I think that that's the main lesson for us this week. Really enjoy the moment, as difficult as it can feel, and don't fret what's next, but just be here and now. All right, so I think that another guidance for us this week as well is to try to get to know ourselves. This is about giving ourselves therapy, and because I feel like a lot of us are still healing or maybe reminiscing of things of the past, of how things were. And being that we're stepping into this new world, we are needing to accommodate and get accustomed to this new way of living. And at times, this new way of living might be better, but a lot of us just still can't help but looking back, right? And so we are needing to really honor how far we've come. We need to be grateful. That's what your daily gratitude journal is for all our blessings, for all that we've been gifted, for being good on this journey, for being chosen for this journey. Because trust me that a lot of people are not chosen, and there's just a lot of people that are not even on the journey or aware of this spiritual journey. And it's a sad thing, it's almost a shame, because they're missing out on so much beauty, they're missing out on miracles, and they're missing out on so much holiness, which can really transform your life for the better and help you to start living your highest vibrational timeline. Because all of us have different options in life. That's what free will is, right? God has given us free will to live as we please, to choose our own destiny. And so based on our choices in life, we can either be at A, B, C, or D, right? Based on what we choose. How do we choose to spend our time? Where do we choose to hang out? Whom do we choose to associate with? All of these things will determine your life purpose, your life outcome, and your life story. And so God is trying to teach us today that using your free will, you choose what life outcome you want. And a lot of us have this dream of this particular outcome that we want in life, right? But a lot of the times people's actions are not in alignment with that dream. And so I think that this week we are really needing to reflect how your actions, your daily routine, your daily actions should be in alignment with the timeline that you want to live, with your life that you want to unfold and see realize. Because if they're not in alignment, that either you're not going to get there or you're going to move farther away, and it's just never going to become a reality, right? Not because God didn't want you to live that life, but because your actions didn't align with what's required of that life. And every lifestyle, every dream has sacrifices, has things that we really need to work harder and put in a little extra, especially if you're living a life right now that has nothing to do with the life that you want to live, right? An example would be, maybe you have a 9-to-5 job out of obligation, but maybe it's not really something you're passionate about. Maybe you're passionate about something more artistic, and it has nothing to do with your current career, what you're doing for making money. And so you're needing to live almost like a double life, right? And imagine someone with kids as well. We see a lot of this. I've seen a lot of this in my clients. Single women and mothers who had 3 roles in life. They had a 9-to-5 to support their family, their children. They were a mother, and they had a passion that they wanted to make happen. And so how do you split yourselves into so many people? How do you split your time and still remain sane, have time for yourself? Self-care, so important. Self-care is really what's going to keep you sane during busy moments, busy schedules, because we need to take care of our temple. And that's also the huge guidance. That's something that I always prioritize. Daily self-care, but then once a week I do a more full-blown self-care day, and like even a full spa day, because we all need that. And if you don't fill up your own cup, how can you expect to give from where there is none, right? So like today, for example, we are here sitting on a Monday, and we're a little later in the evening today because I actually needed that self-care spa moment so that I can recharge, reset my batteries, my mind, and I can be clear with the guidance that I needed to give a message to all of you, right? And so it took me a little longer this week than normal, because usually I would start filming these by Monday morning, and before it was actually on the weekend, but I've been guided to now move this over to Monday, since it is an office job, basically filming, and enjoy my weekend. But my weekend was a little longer because I was spending time with my little puppy, and I was babysitting her and I was alone, so it wasn't until she left that I could start focusing more on myself and just myself. And so it's almost like having a child, right? Having a pet is just as much work as having a child. And so I took a little longer this Monday, but that's okay, because I feel that if I would have just tried to rush it and not had that self-care moment, it wouldn't have been, first of all, high quality. The guidance might have been off, and I just wouldn't have felt my best. If anything, I would have felt worse. And that's definitely not what the journey's about. It's never about martyrdom. It's never about sacrificing your well-being, because we need to be in our A game for us to be able to help from the ultimate place of love and ability. Because if you're not in your A game, then you can't help. It's just as much clear as that. And a lot of people have a different mentality about this. A lot of people think, like, there's a saying, and Jesus did teach this in the Bible, that you give even if you don't have, right? That's a humbleness attitude. That's an attitude of service. And yes, that's definitely, a good model way to live by, but not so much when it's related to your mental health and well-being. Because if you give from a place of not giving, it can become toxic, and it can be a relationship in which it is more draining than fulfilling, right? And this goes a lot like for couples as well. We see this a lot. I am a couples therapist as well, and I've seen this a lot throughout my career with clients. That's the number one reason for failure of relationships. People giving from a place of obligation and not really from a place of sincerity or genuinity, right? And always keeping yourself in alignment with your integrity, being true to yourself, and that does mean prioritizing your well-being. So I think that that's a beautiful guidance for us this week, for sure. So let's see. All right, so I think that that's a little coffee talk for today. I think we reached the 30 minutes, but I don't feel like there's any more messages about. Just remember that there's always something to be thankful for. So keep mindful of your gratitude and just go with the flow of your life. Don't overburden yourself with so many things, but definitely try to be productive, be useful to God, be useful in yourself, because this in and of itself will give you value, will give you worth, and it will give meaning to your life. And that's the number one key to happiness. That's the number one key to feeling good and feeling worthy of God's love. And even though God doesn't require us to do anything in return for his love, we want to be useful to him, and we want to be of service, and we want to be a good soldier to God, right? And we want to definitely do good by God so that we may leave our legacy, and we may say that we did something good with our life, right? So do the best that you can, keep moving forward, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful week. Make sure that you do check out your dailies. These are very important videos. They're very much shorter than these weekly coffee talks. And make sure that you also check out my social media. I'm always posting extra guidance, tips, lifestyle on my social media. So check it out at Christy_Ramirez_soul coaching, my Instagram page. And also check out my TV page, which would be at spiritualcounseling.tv. I have podcasts there that I do weekly. Always can be extra use to you. And of course, check out my School of Light, which is an exclusive membership on my website, christyramirez.com/school, that will help you deeper gain knowledge of your journey and help you to grow and evolve. And God will give us very exclusive messages there, as he always does. We're reading a lot of holy books. First off, with the Bible study class, we're reading the Bible from chapter 1. We read already A Course in Miracles, which are all of Jesus' teachings on love. This year, we're starting with the 365 lessons. So we're starting that very soon. And we are also reading other educational books that are going to help you also on your spiritual journey, such as Dante's Divine Comedy was one of them. Very powerful book. And I'm also going to be teaching a class on that book later this year, which is just going to break down the concepts of that book even deeper. And even just more books and content there. So definitely check it out. I am always there filming year round. And there's also other series there that you might want to watch. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in your dailies. Namaste.